Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Vaibhavi from RKC and today we are going to cover the topic communication skills. I'm really glad to be here with you all today. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you all for taking out the time to attend this session. We are going to talk about communication skills. It may seem simple, but if you apply it in the real world, it can create a big difference in your personal and professional journey. We are going to explore three key aspects of communication that are essential in any workplace. The first is verbal communication. This is about how we speak and the impact our words have. Speaking with clarity and confidence ensures that our ideas are not just heard but also be understood and be remembered. The way we present ourselves verbally can influence how people perceive our professionalism and credibility. Just for an example, imagine you are presenting a new idea in a team meeting. If you speak too fast or use vague terms, people may miss the point. But if you explain it clearly, pause at the right places, and use a confident tone, your team is more likely to support your ideas. Coming to the second one, which is written communication. In today's workplace, a large portion of our interaction happens over emails, reports, and messages only. Writing clearly and in a professional structure helps us avoid confusion and also ensures that your message gets across in the right way, unlike poorly written communication, which can lead to misunderstandings, delay, or even lost opportunities. Okay, so suppose you need to email your manager about a project delay. A poorly written mail you need like a poorly written mail like project stuck, need more time, it will definitely create confusions, right? Instead of that, you should use a professional version. Like Project X is facing a 2-day delay due to vendor issues. Updated timeline attached, kindly review and advise. Have you noticed the tone of message? It is showing accountability and professionalism. And finally, the third, which is active listening. This is often overlooked, but it's just as important as speaking or writing. Active listening means paying full attention to someone's story or problem, understanding understanding their perspective to anything, and showing that you do value about their POV. It builds strong relationships among people, reduce chances of mistakes, and makes communication a healthy two-way process. For example, just think of a manager handling a dispute between two employees. If the manager listens carefully before responding, it helps resolve the issue fairly and strengthens, and it also strengthens the trust. So, throughout this session, we'll see how these three skills speaking, writing, and listening work together to make us more effective and attractive communicators. So, let's start with the basic communication. Communication is the foundation of each and every successful workplace. It's not just about passing on information, it's really about connecting with people, solving each other's problem, and working together towards a common goal. When we say communication, it means we are talking about the exchange of information, ideas, and emotions. It is what makes teamwork possible, what drives leadership, and what improves overall productivity. If your communication is weak and if you lack in vocabularies, even the best ideas seem to be failed. You know what? 70% of workplace mistakes happen due to a poor communication. That means most errors in organizations are not about lack of skills or resources. They are just about people not understanding each other clearly because of poor communication. And it's a fact. And communication is not just about the words we speak, but also how we say them, our tone, our body language, and even our timing. These small things can completely change the meaning of a message or even a word. So, in short, good communication builds trust, avoid misunderstandings, and create a workplace where people can collaborate, understand better, and achieve results together. Now that we have looked at what communication is, let's talk about why the skills actually matters in the workplace. So, the effective communication is the backbone of teamwork. When people share ideas clearly and openly, understandings among them become smoother and faster. It also builds trust, transparency because employees know that they are on the same page and not even a single information is hidden from them. Strong communication also improves collaboration across departments. In some organizations, different teams have to work together, like finance, HR, operations, marketing, and many more. And in this case, if communication is not clear, then misunderstandings can lead to a big problem. And communication also plays a key role in leadership. Leaders who communicate well can inspire, guide, and motivate their team. On the other hand, if leader is poor in communicating the things, then results can be a lot of confusions and morale. Another important point is that effective communication reduces conflicts and misunderstandings among team. Many of the workplaces disputes happen just not because of like people disagree to the things, but because they didn't understand each other properly. Good communication boosts confidence and credibility of us. When you express yourself clearly and with confidence and good communication skill, people take you more seriously and you will be seen as more professional and trustworthy. So, whether you are an intern, a manager, or a senior leader, strong communication skills directly affects you, how effective you are in your role, and how well the organization functions as a whole, because you are the face of that particular organization. Let's now focus on verbal communication, which forms the backbone of workplace interaction. Just think about it. Whether you are in a team meeting, presenting to a client, or even having a casual chat with a colleague, most of our daily work depends on how effectively we use spoken words. Verbal communication helps us exchange ideas, give instructions, and solve problems quickly. But it only works well when we do it with clarity, respect, and confidence. So, what does that mean in practice? First, speak clearly, concisely, and confidently. Clarity means avoiding jargons or complicated language unless it's necessary. Conciseness is about getting to the point instead of giving long, confusing explanations, which can dilute your message and remove the importance. And confidence doesn't mean being loud, it means sounding sure of yourself so others can trust what you're saying. For example, instead of saying, I can think like maybe this report should be done soon, you should say, this report needs to be submitted by Friday so that we can stay on the schedule. Have you noticed the difference in the confidence? Second, use an appropriate tone, pitch, and pace. Tone always conveys the emotions that what you are sounding, being supportive, frustrated, or enthusiastic. Pitch keeps your voice engaging. Pace is important because some speaking too fast can make you hard to follow and understand what you said. If you're speaking too slowly, it may bore your audience. The solution is to aim for a natural rhythm that keeps people engaged. Third, avoid fillers like or okay. They often creep in in when we are nervous, but they can make us sound less confident and distract from the message. A simple trick is to pause for a second instead of filling the silence with these words. That pause will actually make you sound more thoughtful and deliberate. Finally, adapt your message to your audience. This is crucial. The way you speak to your manager might be different from how you explain something to a new intern. Similarly, a client presentation requires to be more formal, with polished language compared to an informal team huddle. Always think, who am I speaking to? What do they need from me? And then adjust your tone, pitch, and pace accordingly. To sum it up, good verbal communication isn't just about speaking, it's about speaking in a way that connects with others. If your words are clear, your tone respectful, and your message tailored to the audience, your communication becomes not just effective but meaningful. And that's what strengthens the relationships and drives workplace success. Now let's look at some of the common mistakes. I'm sorry. Now let's look at the some common mistakes people often make, and being aware of these is the first step towards avoiding them. The first mistake is overloading your message with unnecessary details. Sometimes, in an effort to be thorough, we add too much of background information or go off topic which is not needed at all. This can overwhelm the listener and make them lose focus on the main point. For example, if your manager asks for a project update. They don't need the entire history of the project. They just need to know about the key progress and challenges. Keeping it precise shows respect for others' time too. Second, using jargon that confuses. Every workplace has its own set of acronyms, technical terms, but not everyone may be familiar up with them. Okay, overusing jargons can make people feel excluded or misunderstood. It's better to explain things in simple terms or words which we use in everyday language, especially when talking to people from different departments or to clients. Third, avoid speaking too fast or too slow, and also too softly. When we speak too fast, our words can become unclear and like listeners may struggle to follow now, and it usually happens because of nervousness. On the other hand, speaking too softly makes it hard to makes it hard for people to hear and follow them. The solution is to find a comfortable pace and volume clear enough to be heard, steady enough to be understood. And finally, not listening to feedbacks. Verbal communication isn't one way. If we ignore body language, questions, or clarifications from others, we risk miscommunication. For instance, if someone looks confused while you are speaking, it's important to pause and check in with them instead of just continuing. So, in short, avoiding these mistakes like too many details, jargon, unclear delivery, and ignoring feedbacks can make our communication sharper and more impactful. Okay, so we have talked about the fundamentals and mistakes in verbal communication, but let's make it more concrete with some examples of where we use it in the workplace. First, presenting ideas in a meeting. This is one of the most common scenario. The way you explain your idea can determine whether your team supports it or not. Clear structure, confidence in yourself, and the ability to answer the questions directly. These all plays a role. For example, if you're proposing a new project and summarizing the benefits in simple terms makes it easier for others to get on the board. Second one, giving constructive feedback respectfully. Feedback is essential in the workplace, but how we deliver it matters. Saying your report was confusing may discourage someone, but saying your report had good points, maybe you could organize it with clearer headings to make it easier to follow. Gives you both encouragement and direction. Respectful communication always builds trust while still addressing areas of improvement. Third, storytelling to engage your audience. This is often overlooked, but trust me, storytelling is a powerful verbal tool. Whether you are presenting data or pitching an idea, adding a short story or real life example makes your message more relatable and memorable. People may forget numbers, but they never forget the stories. And finally, persuading a client or customer. Persuasion is not about pressuring someone, it's about communicating the value in a way that connects with their needs. For instance, instead of just listing product features, you should also explain how those features solve the client's specific problem. That shift in communication makes you more convincing. So, as we can see, verbal communication is not just about talking, it's about tailoring our message according to the situation. Whether it's a meeting, giving feedback, engaging through stories, or persuading others, each spoken interaction has the power to influence our professional success. Let's now shift to written communication, which is exactly important as verbal communication in the workplace. Written communication ensures the accuracy, professionalism, and record keeping, unlike spoken words. What we write often stays on records, whether it's an email, a report, or a presentation. That means our writing reflects directly on our credibility and professionalism. A poorly written email can damage trust, while a well structured message can strengthen relationships and create clarity. Always use professional language in emails. Emails are the most common form of workplace communication. Using casual words, slangs, or emojis in professional email shows the wrong impression. For example, instead of writing, "Hey, please send the file ASAP," you could write, "Dear candidate, could you please share the report by 3 p.m. today?" Notice the second version is very polite, professional, and respectful. Second, keep structure clear. Introduction, main point, and conclusion. When we write without any structure, the reader may get lost. A simple three-part. Okay, so we have left on the three-part. Okay,
Okay.
so start with an introduction that sets the context, then the main point with details or instructions, and finally a conclusion or next step. This way, the reader knows exactly what's being communicated and what kind of action is expected. Third, be polite, concise, and specific. Politeness builds goodwill, conciseness saves time, and specificity avoids confusion. For example, instead of writing, "Send me the document soon," which looks vague, right? Instead of that, you can use, "Please send me the updated project document by 5 p.m. today." This is really polite, clear, and leaves no chance for misunderstanding. Fourth, always proofread before sending. This step is often skipped, but it's crucial. Typos, grammar errors, or missing attachments can harm your credibility. Proofreading takes just a minute but ensures your message is polished. A quick trick is to read your email out loud. It helps you catch mistakes you might otherwise miss. Basically, strong written communication is not just about putting words on paper. It's totally about making sure your message is clear, professional, and impactful. If you use professional language, structure your message well, stay polite and concise, and ensures proofread before you send, your written communication will not just inform but also enhance your credibility. Okay, so now that we have looked at fundamentals of written communication, let's see some practical examples of what effective written communication looks like. One of the most common examples is drafting an email. A well-written email not only conveys information but also reflects your professionalism. For instance, a clear subject line like "Project Update Phase 2 Completed" immediately tells the reader that the message is about. Compare that with a vague subject line like "Update." The first one saves time by not explaining again and again and creates clarity. Next, using bullet points for clarity is very effective, especially when you need to share multiple updates or instructions. Instead of writing one long paragraph, which makes it boring and not focusable, break it into bullet points, which makes it easy for the reader to scan and understand quickly. Another important element while communicating is the tone. A polite, respectful tone builds goodwill. Instead of just writing, "Send me your feedback," you could write, "Please review and share your feedback by Friday." It's a small difference in wording, but it makes a big impact on how the message is received. Finally, don't forget the attachments or supporting documents to add. Effectively, written communication isn't completed if you leave the necessary files or references. Always double check before sending to avoid back and forth emails. So, whether it's an email, reports, or proposals, effective written communication comes down to being clear, structured, polite, and complete. These small habits not only improving efficiency but also strengthen the trust of people towards you and a professional reputation. Now, let's talk about a skill that is often underestimated: active listening. Many people think listening just means sitting quietly while someone else talks, but clearly, listening goes much deeper. It's about understanding the meaning behind the words, the emotions, and the intent of the speaker. This matters because active listening builds trust. When people feel heard, they are more open and cooperative. It also reduces conflicts because many disagreements arise simply from not fully understanding each other. And of course, it improves teamwork since team members feel respected and included. Let's break down some fundamentals of active listening. Pay complete attention. This sounds simple, but it's harder than it looks. Often, while someone is speaking, we are already planning our response or thinking about the other things. True active listening means giving full attention, not just to go with the words, but also to tone and body language. For example, if a colleague says, I'm fine, but sounds frustrated, you must notice that mismatch. Second, avoid distractions like phones or multitasking. How often you've seen people checking their phones during meetings? Even if they catch the word, they miss the deeper message. Active listening requires presence. Put away devices and show attention with your body language by nodding or making eye contact that feels that you are engaged. Listen to understand, not just to reply. Please. This is one of the biggest traps. Many times we listen only until we can jump in the word in within the like going on conversation. Active listening means holding back and really focusing on what the other people is saying, person is saying. For example, in a team conflict, instead of immediately defending yourself, you might say, let me make sure I understand you're concerned that the deadlines aren't realistic. That shows you're trying to understand and not just to argue. Fourth one, respond thoughtfully. After listening, how you respond actually matters. A thoughtful response could be paraphrasing, so what I hear you saying is, or asking clarifying questions. Even something as simple as, I understand your point and here's my perspective, shows respect. The goal is not just to reply quickly, but to reply in a way that moves the conversation forward with respectness. Let me give you a quick workplace example. Imagine a manager asking an employee why a project is delayed. If the employee listens actively, they won't jump into excuses. Instead, they will listen to the manager's concern, acknowledge it, and will respond like, I understand the deadline is critical, and then explain the situation calmly. That approaches diffuses tension and builds cooperation. So, to wrap this up, active listening is truly a hidden skill because it's quiet and subtle, but its impact in the real world is really powerful. By paying attention, avoiding distraction, listening to understand, and responding thoughtfully, we not only improve conversations, we build stronger relationships that makes workplace more productive and positive. We just discussed what active listening is and how to practice it. Now let's just focus on the benefits it brings to the workplace. First, it builds trust and respect between colleagues. When someone feels that their opinion is genuinely heard, okay, so first is to build trust and respect between colleagues. When someone feels that their opinion is genuinely heard, they naturally trust the person more. For example, if in a meeting your manager listens carefully to your suggestion, even if they don't implement but still listen, you'll feel valued. That trust strengthens the workplace relationship. Second, it reduces conflict and misunderstandings. Many disagreements are not about real issues, they happen because people misinterpret each other. Active listening allows us to pause, clarify, and confirm what the other person really means, and this prevents small issues from growing into big conflicts. Third, it improves teamwork and collaboration. Teams, teams function best when everyone feels included. If each member listens actively, ideas flow freely and collaboration becomes smoother. For instance, in brainstorming sessions, active listening ensures no idea is ignored, which, which encourages the creativity. Fourth, it enhances learning and knowledge sharing. When we actively listen, we absorb information better, whether it's a training session, a project briefing, or even informal knowledge sharing. Listening actively and attentively ensures we don't miss important details and can apply them effectively. Finally, it boosts employee morale and motivation. When employees feel heard and respected, their job satisfaction increases. They are more motivated to contribute and workplace culture becomes more positive. Simply giving someone your full attention can make them feel recognized and appreciated. So, overall, active listening is not just a communication skill, it's a culture building habit. It strengthens trust, prevents conflicts, improves collaboration, and creates a workplace where people feel motivated to give their best. Okay, so we have talked about active listening and why it matters. Now let's look at some techniques that can help us practice it more effectively in everyday workplace situations. First, maintain consistent eye contact to show attentiveness. Eye contact is the one of the strongest signals that you're present in the conversation. It doesn't mean staring continuously or but maintaining a natural level of eye contact so the speaker knows that yes you are engaged. For example, if someone is sharing feedback with you, looking away at your phone or desk makes them feel ignored. But steady eye contact reassures them you value what they are saying. Second, paraphrase or summarize what the speaker said. This technique helps confirm that you truly understood the message. For example, you might say, so what you are saying is that the project deadline feels too tight, right? This is not only clears up and misunderstood, but also makes the speaker feel validated. It's a simple but powerful way to strengthen the communication. Third, avoid distraction like phones or multitasking, as I said before. Nothing breaks trust faster than trying to talk someone who is half listening while checking emails or scrolling through their phone. Active listening requires full attention. Even a busy workplace giving someone 2 minutes or of undivided attention is more valuable. Fourth, use affirmations such as saying I understood, nodding, or short verbal cues like right or that makes sense. These small signals encourages the speaker to continue and show that you are following along. Without them, the speaker may feel like they are talking to a into a void. But affirmations, whether verbal or non-verbal, create a sense of connection. And finally, the last one, ask open-ended questions to encourage more sharing. Instead of yes or no questions, ask questions like, "Can you tell me more about what challenges you're facing, or what do you think could make this process smoother?" This is not only depends the conversation, but also gives the speaker space to fully express their ideas. So, to summarize, eye contact, paraphrasing, avoiding distractions, affirmations, and open questions are five practical ways to practice active listening. When used together, they transform everyday conversation into a meaningful, respectful, and productive exchange. Okay, so up to this point, we have explored verbal, written, listening skills individually, right? So, but the truth is, communication is most powerful when these skills are integrated together. Let's see how. First, combining verbal, non-verbal, and written forms. In real workplace situations, we rarely rely on just one type of communication. For example, if you're presenting a project update, you use verbal communication to explain the details. Your non-verbal signals like eye contact, posture, and gesture show confidence and sincerity in you. Later, you might follow up with a written summary email so that everything is clear and documented. When these three forms work together, the message becomes stronger, clearer, harder to misinterpret. Second one, active listening as the foundation. No matter how strong our speaking or writing skills are, if listening is missing, communication breaks down. For example, in a client meeting, if you focus only on explaining your product but don't actively listen to the client's need, the conversation won't succeed that much. Active listening ensures that the message is received correctly and creates a two-way exchange I'm sorry, rather than a one-way speech. Third, feedback for continuous improvement. Feedback is the loop that closes communication. When we give or receive constructive feedback, it helps us know whether our message was understood, and how we can improve. For example, after sending a report asking, was this format clear or should I make it more detailed, invites feedback and helps you refine your communication and your project also. Without feedback, communication often feels incomplete, right? Okay, so and finally, technology as a supportive tool. In today's workplace, communication doesn't happen only face to face. We use emails, video calls, instant messaging apps, and collaboration tools too, like Team or Slack. Technology allows us to integrate all these skills across time zones and locations. But remember, technology is only a tool. It supports communication, but it can't replace clarity, empathy, or active listening. So, when we integrate all these elements verbal, non verbal, written listening, feedbacks, and technology we create a communication system that is stronger, complete, and highly effective. That's what leads to better teamwork, strong leadership, and continuous improvement in any workplace. When it comes to communication, a few simple do's and don'ts can make a big difference in how effective and professional we come across. Let's start with the do's, I guess. Okay. So, first, always be clear, polite, and respectful towards people. Clear communication, avoid confusions, and politeness ensures your message is received positively. Even when delivering bad news or criticism, respect keeps relationships stronger. Second, adapt to your audience. The way you speak to a colleague may be different from how you present to a senior management or how you talk with a client. Tailoring your style makes your message more effective. Third, confirm understanding. Don't just assume the person got your point. Ask them, does that make sense? Or would you like me to explain further? This ensures everyone is aligned. Now, let's jump to the don'ts. Don't interrupt people. Cutting someone off can feel disrespectful and discourages open conversations. Even if you disagree, let them finish before responding, right? Don't use unnecessary jargons. While technical terms may be fine with experts, jargon can alienate or confuse others. Aim for simple, direct language whenever possible because you have to work with different teams and also with the clients, those who are not aware about the jargons you use in your company. And finally, don't ignore feedback. If someone tells you they didn't understand or that your tone came across differently than intended, listen and adjust. Ignoring feedbacks makes miscommunication one-sided and ineffective. So by following these do's and avoiding the don'ts, you can make your communication not only clearer but also more respectful and impactful and meaningful. Let's now look on communication in meeting. A place where good communication can either make the discussion productive or waste everyone's time. First, prepare an agenda and share it in advance. Without an agenda, meetings often go off track. An agenda sets a clear purpose and helps participants to come prepared. For example, if the meeting is about a project update, the agenda could list progress, challenges, and next steps. Sharing it ahead of time means people can bring the right information and ideas. Second, listening actively and respect others' viewpoints. Meetings are meant for discussion, not for one person to dominate on others. Active listening encourages quieter team members to contribute, and respecting different opinions builds trust. Even if you disagree, saying I see your point, but let's also consider, keep the conversation constructive. Third, keep discussions focused and time bound. We have all been in meetings where side conversation drags things on. To avoid that, the chairperson or facilitator should gently steer the discussion back on track. For example, that's a useful point, but let's park it for later and focus on today's agenda. Respecting time makes meetings more efficient. and it's also a really respectful and polite way. Fourth, use clear, concise language when speaking. Long-winded explanations or jargons can make confuse participants. Instead, simple and precise language makes it easier for everyone to follow. For example, rather than saying, we might consider reevaluating the proposal parameters in relation to the clients, you can say, we need to adjust the proposal to match the client's new requirement. Finally, summarizing the key points and assign action items. At the end of a meeting, a quick summary of decisions ensures everyone is aligned. Assigning responsibility, for example, like, hi, February will update the budget by Friday. Priya will prepare the presentation by Monday. Makes it clearer who is accountable for what. This prevents confusion afterwards ensures that decisions are actually implemented. So, effective meeting communication is about planning, listening, staying focused, being clear, and closing with action points. When these practices are followed, meetings become a space for real progress rather than a discussion. So, let's move towards communication in emails. Email is one of the most widely used forms of communication in the workplace, and it directly reflects both the professionalism and culture of your organization. Because emails are often saved as forwarded, they leave a permanent impression, so how we write them matters a lot. First, keep subject line clear and specific. The subject line is the very first thing the recipient sees, and it determines whether your email gets read promptly. For example, instead of writing update as a subject, a clearer subject would be marketing report Q2 draft submission. This gives the recipient immediate clarity and makes it easier to find later. Second, use a professional tone and structure. Your tone should always be polite and respectful, no matter the situation. Structuring your emails with a getting a greeting body and like closing makes it a look neat, easy to follow. For example, starting with dear Mr. Sharma, moving into the main message and then ending with regards Vaibhavi, HR buddy, shows courtesy and professionalism. Third, be concise but complete in information. Long wordy emails often get ignored, of course it get ignored, while overly short emails may create confusion because lack of like information. The best balance is to brief yet cover all necessary details. For example, if you're requesting information, clearly mention what you need, why you need, and by when, without unnecessary background details. Fourth, avoid jargon, grammatical mistakes. Jargon make communication harder to understand because everyone is not familiar with like each of the word, especially when writing to someone outside your department. And grammar mistakes, even small ones, can harm credibility. For example, writing there is an issue in the report instead of there is an issue in the report immediately reduces the professionalism. Have you noticed it? Finally, always proofread before sending. This is one of the simplest but most effective habits. Proofreading helps you catch errors, confirm tone, and check if you have attached the necessary files. How many times have we all sent an email saying please find attached but forgot the attachment? A quick review saves embarrassment. So, overall, effective email communication is about being clear, professional, concise, and accurate. If you follow these practices, your email won't just share information, they will build your credibility, strengthen workplace relationship. Communication within the team is the glue that holds everything together. No matter how talented individual members are, if the communication is weak, the team cannot function effectively. First, team communication encourages collaboration and idea of sharing. When people feel comfortable expressing their thoughts and suggestions, innovation naturally increases. For example, in a brainstorming session, a small idea from one member can spark a bigger solution when others build on it. Open sharing fosters creativity that wouldn't be possible in isolation. Second, it prevents conflicts and misunderstandings. Most workplace conflicts don't arise from bad intention. They come from unclear instructions, assumptions, or lack of updates. Simple practices like clarifying roles, providing timely updates, and confirming understandings can prevent unnecessary friction. Third, strong communication strengthens trust and relationships. When team members are transparent, hiding no information, hiding nothing, whether it's about progress, challenges, or mistakes, it creates a culture of honesty. Over time, this builds trust, where members know they can rely on each other without hesitation. Trust, once established, makes collaboration smoother and faster. Fourth, effective team communication improves productivity and efficiency. I'm sorry. When everyone is on the same page, duplication of work reduces, tasks are completed faster, and project moves forward without delays. A quick stand-up meeting, for example, can save our hours of confusion later. Lastly, it creates a sense of belonging and motivation. When members are heard, acknowledged, and kept informed, they feel valued. This boosts morale and motivates them to contribute more actively. A team that communicates well doesn't just achieve targets, it enjoys the process of together. So, to summarize, communication in team is not just about sharing updates, it's about creating alignment, preventing conflicts, building trust, and driving both performance and motivation. Now, let's look at how communication is not only important in the workplace but also a direct driver of career growth. First, strong communication enhances leadership qualities. Think about leaders you admire. Most of them are just knowledgeable but also effective communicators. They know how to motivate their team, share vision clearly, and handle challenges confidently. If you can articulate ideas well, and people naturally start to see you as a leader even before you hold an official leader title. Second, communication improves networking and relationship building. In today's professional world, I'm sorry, in today's professional world, success often comes from who you know as much as what you know. Being able to hold conversation, listen actively, and connect genuinely with others help expand your professional circle. Networking is not about handling out business cards. It's about meaningful communication that builds long-term professional relationships. Third, effective communication increases chances of promotion and recognition. Employees who express ideas clearly, give presentations confidently, and represent the organization well are more likely to be noticed by senior management. Communication makes your skills visible. Without it, your working might go unnoticed if you're not performing well. And also, if you perform really well, still because of lack of no confident and all, it will get unnoticed. Fourth, it is essential for negotiation, persuasion, and teamwork. Whether you are negotiating a salary, convincing a client, or aligning your team towards a project goal, your ability to communicate persuasively makes the difference between success and missed opportunities. Finally, communication builds professional reputation and credibility. The way you write email, handle conflicts, and present yourself in a meeting shapes how people perceive you. A professional who communicates clearly, respectfully, and confidently earns trust and credibility and many respect, which are invaluable for long term career success. So, in summary, communicating is not just a workplace skill, it's a career accelerator. It helps you step into leadership roles, build in networks, gain visibility, and open doors to endless opportunities. As we come to the conclusion of this session, let's look back and reflect on the key messages. Communication is the foundation of professional success. Think about it. No matter how skilled or talented someone is, if they cannot communicate their ideas clearly, those skills often go unnoticed. On the other hand, even a simple idea, when communicated effectively, can create a big impact. We have seen that communication is not just about talking, it involves verbal, non-verbal, and written information. Verbal skills allows us to express ideas. Non-verbal cues like body language and tone reinforce our message. And written communication ensures accuracy and record keeping. When all three together, they create a complete, impactful message. But communication doesn't end with speaking or writing, it requires listening and feedback too. Active listening shows respect, builds trust, and reduces conflicts. Constructive feedback ensures improvement and helps teams grow stronger. Another important takeaway is that we must be mindful of barriers to communication. These could be distractions, assumptions, language issues, or even lack of clarity. Overcoming these barriers lead to better teamwork, stronger workplace relationships, and ultimately improved outcomes. So the final message is clear. Effective communication is the key to success. It shapes how people perceive you, how well team perform, and how far you go in your career. By practicing these skills every day, you are not just becoming a better communicator, you are opening doors to a new opportunity and long-term growth. So thank you everyone for being such an attentive audience throughout this